Hi there, welcome to I Lone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Pisces energy. And the first two cards we have out is the Seven of Wands and the Six of Cups because of the Virgo Hermit. Some people have gone within to gain insight and understanding about themselves, about the past, to see the truth, and the truth sets us free. And some people were able to get out of their inner conflict, get out of their more prideful or egotistical or materialistic view of life or their self limiting view of life. Somehow they took creative, inspired action because they did the inner work to invest time, energy, and effort to get clear about the truth of what their truth is, what their dreams are, what their dreams aren't, and they were able to stand up for themselves. They are defending wanting to be in relationships with people who work together from that pure, innocent nature of love and hope and faith and belief, who are willing to experience the highs and lows of life emotionally, and other people hide the fact that they're defensive and they want to keep repeating the same old patterns of the past. So, if you got into a relationship with some people who you know are defensive of working from a deep emotional foundation, believing in their dreams, listening to their intuition, taking action out of love and insightfulness, you might be defending yourself against people like that because you have learned lessons in life that they maybe haven't learned. And if they want to keep repeating a certain way of being in the world that they think will make them happy, but you've already lived your life that way and you know that doesn't bring happiness and you're ready to move forward in your life in a different way. You could look at it almost like how much we change from age 15 to age 25. A lot of people grow and mature themselves and let go of their more immature, indulgent, selfish, greedy, manipulative, bossy, controlling, self centered ways of being, and some people don't. And that's kind of the difference. And, our shadow nature can be about making our life more about money and materialism and status and image, ego. And some people like to work together with people in relationships because it makes them feel like they have had some type of victory. But really, a high vibe victory would be where you're moving forward. You've learned lessons in life, you've grown and matured yourself. Some people want to make it look like that, but they're really not. They're doing exactly the same old thing they've always done. It's just with a different person that they're in a relationship with. And they hide the fact that they're still defensive to working together with people from a deep emotional foundation. They're just repeating the same old pattern of relationship over with someone else. So the shadowy people, everybody might have people in their life that they're working with. It's just some people are working with other people who work together with them from a foundation of love and do work and effort within themselves to not operate from pride and ego, to not be emotionally manipulative and stubborn and prideful and egotistical. And some people are hiding the fact that the people they are working with might be that way, or they're hiding from the people they are working with that they are that way. People can try to create an illusion in the world. Then we have the King of Pentacles and the Five of Cups. High vibe people want their dreams to come into reality, and they're taking that bold creative action forward. And we go from the Seven of Wands down to the Three of Wands, which is letting go of a Four of Wands, which can be a foundation within ourself, a way of viewing life, or it could be letting go of a job or a relationship because they are harnessing high vibe Capricorn energy, meaning that they have freed themselves from their shadowy nature because shadowy Capricorn is represented by the devil, and they've grown and matured themselves. They have learned how to love and believe in themselves and discipline their more shadowy nature to not indulge in their more shadowy ways of being. And they've learned lessons from relationships in the past that haven't worked out. They have invested time, energy, and effort to work through the grief or the sadness of relationships that didn't work out in the past, to still believe in their dreams and still invest in their dreams. Some other people, instead of having done that work within themselves, they're going to keep moving forward, presenting themselves as like a stable, grounded, nurturing, mature person in workplaces, in friendship groups, in relationships, but they still haven't dealt with their regrets of the past. But instead of dealing with them, they've decided to, instead of making their life about loving and believing in themselves, they've let go maybe of love and have decided, I'm going to make my life all about either indulging in the world in whatever they want to indulge in, or um, just create the illusion that I'm all those wonderful things in order to get people to work together with me. Possibly use their resources in the world, if that's their hugs and kisses, their sexuality, their looks, their money, their image, their status, to invest in other people who might be sad and try to get those people to work together with them to bring a dream into reality. There, for some of you, there might be someone from your past that you had worked together with. They weren't kind of selfish and greedy and all those things, and you view them as being someone. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be someone from your past. It could be someone that you're in a relationship with, or you'd like to be in a relationship with, that you view as being someone who you think you could have your dreams come into reality with. For some of you, you've went within to gain insight and understanding. But for some of you, either that person is in a relationship with someone else and they have a very good relationship with that person. And even though they could be sad that they can't be in a relationship with you to a degree, they're in a relationship with very nurturing, loving people, and they know their dreams can come into reality with those people. And if we're already in a relationship with loving, nurturing people, why would we go indulge in something else? And you could have been in a relationship that you ended that relationship and you were sad that that relationship had to end. But if the other people, like shadowy Scorpio of the Six of Cups, could be people, and the Seven of Wands is Leo energy, and then this is Virgo. You could have gotten in a relationship with someone who was hiding that they're defensive, and that they could be kind of people. Shadowy Scorpio can be people who like to keep their emotions buried beneath the surface. They like to live more of a emotionally shallow life, a little more superficial life. They could be more motivated by ego and image and materialism, and they could have been hiding that from you. And now you could have let go of that foundation with those people, and there's someone else that you would like to be in a relationship with. For some of you, that person also could have gotten themselves in relationships like that, and you're both at this place where you're letting go of that old foundation and working through your regrets that that relationship didn't work out. But we've got to see the truth. If other people are defensive to being vulnerable and open and loving, and that's kind of our dream relationship, is to be with people who are like that, people who have grown and matured themselves out of their more emotionally defensive nature and have worked through their past pain and heartbreak to learn the lessons from it, to grow and mature themselves and be bold and brave and confident in their life. Those are the people you want to move forward with. If you're in a relationship, there could just be someone else. The King of Pentacles can be like a father figure, it could be a Capricorn, maybe a Taurus or a Virgo, but someone who hasn't dealt with their regrets of the past. You probably are, at any given moment in time, you can be working together with other people, and all the people that you're working with in your life and just generally other people in the world who do try to gain insight and wisdom about their defensiveness so they can work together with people in a more loving manner. There's always going to be some people in the world and at work and maybe in our family and friendship group that view life differently, and we could have wanted them to be part of our dream, but because they focus either more driven by money and materialism, don't want to work together with people from a deep emotional foundation because relationships in the past didn't work out. So now they've decided to just make their life more about indulgence in the world or ego or money. Those might be people that won't be moving forward with you. And as you move forward, you'll be looking and inspired by other people, to be part of your group and your family group and your friend group who are people who've done the same type of work as you have. So let's see, what else is coming up for Pisces? Some people could have defended some people in their life, and because of that, they could have lost a foundation they were working in. But there's things that they maybe don't want to see the truth about the people in their life that they defend. Maybe some people that harness shadowy Leo Scorpio energy. And because they defend those people and weren't willing to defend kind of the more nurturing, loving, supportive, bold, brave, confident people in their life, they're defending the more defensive, maybe more emotionally shallow people in their life. And why would they do that? Either because they don't want to let go of that foundation and be more independent in the world, and they're kind of codependent on those people, or because they have their own, defensiveness of working together with others. The people in their life can play on their fear, their insecurities, their codependency. And because of that, some of the people who weren't bold and brave and confident to detach from one foundation to invest in their dreams, the people they could have had those dreams come into reality with, it's over. And the people who had knew that their dream can come into reality with them not seeing the truth about their own kind of defensive nature and the people in their life who they maybe let manipulate and control them, those people had to move on. And those people learned some valuable lessons from that life experience that, um, if I want my dreams to come into reality, I need to be in relationship with other people who are free, because I think I mentioned that high vibe King of Pentacles and Capricorn energy. Shadowy Capricorn is the devil, where it's limiting and oppressive and restrictive and confining and competitive and all those things. And high vibe Capricorn is people who have freed themselves from that. And then high vibe Aries is about being bold and brave and confident because you have dealt with your regrets of the past, your self limiting beliefs, and other people haven't. And they're going to stay repeating that kind of pattern of relationship and defending that way of being within themselves and defending people in their life who are happy that they're maybe like that, until they maybe keep finally realize, like, oh my gosh, I kind of keep repeating the exact same, my life never changes, you know and other people's dreams do come into reality where they are with more emotionally mature and grown and loving and nurturing people. They might like to have nurturing, loving people in their life, but they're not willing to detach from their old ways of being. Maybe not willing to learn lessons in life. Maybe they're kind of prideful and egotistical, or think that, if I just have the things of the world, the money or the materialism or the status, other people will want to be in a relationship with me, and I don't have to grow and mature myself. I don't have to see the truth that I might be kind of all about myself, or I might be emotionally shallow, or I might be manipulative or defensive or prideful or egotistical. And so high vibe people are moving forward. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles. You are independent. You don't look to the world and other people outside of you for them to validate your worth and value. That's being freed from your more worldly nature and egoic nature. You have done the work within yourself to love and appreciate yourself, that, the world can judge away. But some other people, their whole sense of identity and worth and value comes from people viewing them a certain way. And then some people are very driven and motivated by money and materialism, and they're willing to sacrifice love because they're not willing to become independent of their more materialistic nature or worldly egoic nature. And it's really important to them to have a certain status and image in the world. That's maybe what makes them feel like they feel stable and grounded. But they're not willing to become independent of the world. And the reason the Nine of Pentacles came out is because maybe having a lot of money and materialism, or indulging in the world, hiding that they're more about indulging in the world, makes them happy. And they reject love because they reject the Queen of Cups. For some, you could have been or are in a relationship with someone who does like to repeat these patterns of the past, where it is more about being driven and motivated, by money and materialism. And if there was someone who is single who has money and materialism, they could have let go of a foundation. If that was someone who they, when we live our life in a certain foundational viewpoint, if we choose love, there's going to be other people in the world that we can't be in a relationship with. If we choose like money and materialism or indulgence, there's maybe loving people in the world who we have to sacrifice, that we can't be in a relationship with them. You can't, it's kind of hard to, well, it's just the fact that, you have to pick a path. And some people could have been in a relationship with loving people, and it could have seemed very victorious, moving forward very successfully. But they could have been hiding that they're kind of defensive to working with people. And when it gets to be where it's, kind of getting to where it's kind of bringing out their more vulnerable nature within themselves, that could be when they get defensive, because then they're, really getting emotionally invested and have skin in the game. And it's like, wait, I could get hurt here. I don't want to do hurt. I like to work together with people, but again, I might like to maintain being on the surface myself emotionally. Again, it could be kind of indulging intimately and sexually in a relationship, but defensive of really letting their more vulnerable emotional nature out in the world because they get hurt. And sometimes that's when it triggers the end of a relationship, and they go more into their egoic, emotionally defensive, more worldly focused nature, and they let go of relationships with people who they could have love for and with people who love them, but they're just not willing to be vulnerable in a relationship to the extent that it was getting. It's like, nope, I live my life more from, it can be more about them, their wants, their needs, their lusts, their greed, their pride, their ego. It was good for their image and their status and their money and materialism. But if it gets to be where they've got to deal with and take action to deal with their fears and insecurities, it could be like, nope, I'm not doing it. I think I'll just be happy being single and ignoring love. If there's someone else in the world that I think I can go get in a relationship with, that when I got in a relationship with the loving people, I missed an opportunity to be in a relationship with those type of people in the world. Well, that type of person now might be single, they have money. Again, they might be people who maybe they kind of grew up with people who are more materialistically motivated, a little more emotionally shallow, more ego and image focused, and they thought this will be just like the people I grew up with, where people really don't operate from a deep emotional foundation. And so, because of that, some of you are becoming single from someone you thought you were going to have a dream come into reality with. You could have even had a family with those people, but you know your worth and value. And if they want to be defensive, because the other option would have been they maybe wouldn't have gotten in a relationship with someone else if you had been willing to indulge them in them continuing to kind of be defensive to working with you from a deep emotional foundation where you give up kind of on your dreams and just be staying in the relationship more because of the money and the ego and the image and the status. And you said, no, I have a dream. And what they didn't know about you, maybe, is they could have been kind of, as you were healing and growing in the relationship, they could have become more defensive because you were aligning with your more hopeful, believing nature. You were doing work within yourself to believe in yourself and stand up for yourself more. And, we repeat these patterns of relationship because we have lessons to learn. And maybe that was a lesson you had to learn, was to kind of do the inner work within yourself to get emotionally more balanced within yourself and take that creative inspired action to invest in your own foundation. And you know because we all, I think, go through a phase, because like we're children and we're codependent on our parents to provide a lot of things for us. And then when we go out in the world and looking at relationships, we're still kind of looking outside of us for someone. Aren't you going to make me feel whole and make me feel better? And we kind of don't do all that work within ourselves. And when you were in this relationship, it could have provided a lot of stability and security and emotional meeting of needs that um, you were in that opportunity you were doing that work, but the other person could have been defensive of doing that work, and they kept staying in their maybe more emotionally defensive nature instead of taking some doing some work within themselves to get more emotionally balanced and learn some lessons they needed to learn about their past pain and heartbreak to be more bold and brave and confident in the world. And so you did do the work. You could have had a family with this person, but what they didn't know about you, and again, when you were doing that work, they could have become more defensive. They could have become a little bit more controlling and things like that in relationship to try to cause you regret so you would keep focused on them and the relationship. But you were doing this work within yourself, and what they didn't know is that, you know, you do love yourself and believe in yourself and nurture yourself, and maybe they don't because they could be defensive to connecting in with their emotions and their intuition, and they could live more from their mind and their heart and their ego, and they didn't know that about you. And you're also happy no longer emotionally investing in them. You've put in the work and effort to grow and mature and heal from the relationship. And if they wanted to go get in a relationship with someone else, you've healed from that. And they right now might be hiding the fact that the reason the relationship ended was because you did stand up for yourself and you did want a deep emotional relationship, but they are more focused on money and materialism, or were more focused on someone else. And they were hiding the fact maybe that there was someone in their life that they wanted to reunite with. And you've just kind of healed from all of it. The only thing is, um, if they went to go reunite with someone else, thinking they'd be happy, repeating this pattern of relationship, they could have ended up in regret because the person they thought they'd be happy with isn't loving. When you've been in a relationship with people who are loving and nurturing and supportive, and they could have ended up kind of getting in a relationship with someone who's kind of like themselves, who also is kind of defensive of working together with people cooperatively in a relationship, but they could have been hiding that. They also could have gotten in a relationship with someone who's more driven by money and materialism and image and stuff, or addictions or indulgence, and hasn't dealt with their past pain and heartbreak. And so they're also not willing to maybe be very vulnerable and loving in a relationship. Some of them might stay. They might have, some of them had to become single from those people. Um, and some of them could have decided, I'm happy not doing love. It's emotionally confusing to do love, and some people are doing that. Um, some are moving forward in that relationship. If that one relationship didn't work out, they could be making an offer to someone else who's single that they think will maybe indulge them in a relationship or will stay in a relationship with them because of ego and image and money, and maybe those are the type of relationships they're used to being in or grew up within. They don't want people who are more bold and creative and insightful and loving and know their worth and value, because sometimes people in their if they're quite shadowy energy, they like to emotionally manipulate people in relationships and play on their fears and their insecurities and not knowing their worth and value. And some shadowy people don't want to be in a relationship with people who know their worth and value. And when you started to know your worth and value, they were sad that you knew your worth and value, because then their dreams can't come into reality with you. They could be people who like to kind of seem like a parent or father or mother figure in your life. And if you don't need someone to mother you or parent you, you love and believe in yourself, well, then, sometimes that's some people's ideal relationship. It's kind of like having a position of power or authority in a relationship. I am the person you look up to and admire, that you look to for your sense of stability and security. And if people know their own worth and value, then this person kind of, that could be their idea of a perfect relationship, of being like that position of authority in a relationship. Maybe being in a relationship with people who are sad, who haven't worked through their worth and value. It's like, perfect. I want to indulge in a relationship with you. I like it that you're sad. I'm defensive to people who are emotionally balanced and insightful and independent, because then it's kind of not more about those people looking to them to bring their dream into reality, and they like being someone's savior. And people who are high vibe don't look to other people to be their savior. They look to them and the divine. The divine is like their guiding source for inspiration. And they kind of maybe like being more like communist China, where they are they are the highest truth and justice. If they say something's just and fair, it's just and fair, regardless of if it's not just and fair. So tell us about the high vibe Pisces who are looking to the future. Six of Swords. You have done the work within yourself to see the truth. To see the truth about what causes you mental conflict in your life. And it might be dealing with other people who have a lot of mental conflict about love and truth and being open and honest and loving and giving and warm and nurturing and mature and getting out of their pride and ego and learning lessons in life. The Six of Swords also moves away from the Five of Swords. You could have moved away from someone who is more about looking like a shining star in the world, where it is all about the ego and the image, and nobody ever dealing with their past pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs and growing and maturing themselves. We stay in the relationship because of those ego reasons. The Five of Swords can also be people that are very self-centered. Everybody's supposed to orient around them. Everybody puts aside their pride and ego, but not them. They don't have any lessons to learn. Very egotistical, very self-centered. And people who want to win at all costs, and they don't care who gets hurt. It's all about them. And you've seen the truth. You've given a lot of thought to what is loving and what isn't loving, and what your maybe dream relationship is. And it's not being in a lot of mental conflict, being in a relationship with people who maybe are bossy and controlling and manipulative and immature and keep repeating these same kind of patterns that just puts you up in a mental prison. It's no way to live, but they might choose to live that way. They might stay in a mental prison about love and believing in love, trusting in love, loving themselves. Well, everybody has to free themselves. It's spiritual warfare that people have to do within themselves to become independent of their shadowy, egoic, fearful, emotionally defensive nature to choose love, to love themselves. And some people don't. Some people look to other people. You're supposed to make me happy. But then when their issues bubble up to the surface and issues are bothering them and their past pain and heartbreak is coming back, they have to go find a new partner because you're not doing your job, because they never took responsibility for investing time, energy, and effort to take creative action to deal with their own pain and heartbreak. You were supposed to make them happy. And if they start to have their issues, well, you're not doing your job. It must be someone else that they're supposed to be in a relationship with. They need to go find that person. Who's that person who's going to love me and make me feel all better, because they don't ever love themselves. So you're moving on. Tell us what High Vibe Pisces is moving towards. Okay. Well, we have a Queen of Pentacles. People who would be a counterpart to you being a King of Pentacles. Other people who emotionally, High Vibe King and Queen, people who are High Vibe King and Queen of Pentacles truly are emotionally, internally, a Queen of Pentacles. Emotionally, they have done the work and effort within themselves to learn lessons in life, to grow and mature themselves. So when they go present themselves in the world, and we all take action in the world of masculine energy, and the queens kind of represent our emotional inner state, we truly are authentically who we say we are. It's not just presenting an illusion of being a nurturing, loving, stable, grounded, mature person. We actually emotionally are a mature person. And you're looking for someone else who's done that same work within them. You possibly might be communicating with them because, again, the Six of Swords moves away from the Five of Swords. You have seen a truth, and you also might be communicating a truth to someone who you view as being an emotionally nurturing partner. And then these two cards came out in reverse because in the Eight of Cups, you're walking away from illusions that you had about other people, illusions you had about a workplace or a foundation or a friend group, or thinking somebody was more emotionally mature and grounded and stable than they were. And then these two cards could be things you're not showing people. It also could be things you're rejecting in your life. The Nine of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles. Some high vibe people know people in their life that they know are emotionally nurturing and loving. They could have been defending a relationship, trying to encourage the people they were in relationship with to get over their past pain, heartbreak, and stuff and be more independent so they could be loving in a foundation instead of defensive to being loving. But eventually, they could have seen the truth that I've been working with people who just don't want to connect in with their more emotional nature. They are happy focusing or indulging in the things of the world. And I've seen the truth. And I'm going to communicate to someone that I don't want to be single and move forward without them or be out in the cold from them. I am no longer caught up in illusion of a relationship with some people. There's other people in the world who have gotten in relationships like this too. And there could be someone that when they chose to defend being in a relationship with other people that they had an opportunity to be in a relationship, had been in a relationship with, moved on in their own lives. And now people are realizing that some of the people I didn't get in a relationship with were really the people that I should have been in a relationship with. But it all served a purpose. Maybe everybody had lessons to learn, need lessons to grow and mature themselves and learn to stand up for themselves. And learn about what really was their truth and get clear about their truth. And that's why we get in relationships with different people, is to get clear about what our truth is. What is my dream? Is it, we all grow up in the world and we can all think it's about, you know, this type of relationship because that's the type of relationship my parents had or the people on my block or in my community, And then as we kind of live that life, we kind of like, oh, I have been defending a way of being in relationship. And the whole thing was we had lessons to learn. And as we maybe took action to bring that dream into reality, we realized that way of living our life that way isn't what was emotionally fulfilling to us. And we realized we wanted to be more independent. It's kind of like breaking generational curses. It's like people who grew up in the 1950s when the 1960s came, and it was the love children saying, we don't want to live our life like the 1950s anymore. We want change. And everybody thought they were awful. Well, then things, life evolves and people don't want to really generally don't want to keep doing the exact same things where things never change. But there's some people who do like that because they do not like change at all. Any change, again, they could be people who are really inspired by the world and change and taking more bold, brave, confident action, being more independent in the world and believing in yourself and listening to your intuition to guide you. That's like foreign territory. We never did that in my family or my community. And other people have realized, it's just like the universe ever evolving. Humanity is supposed to ever evolve. That's why we're all not still cave people. There's probably some people who would still like to be cave people. Some people still want to be in the 1950s, the 1970s, the 2000s. There's things that people don't want to get rid of, probably because they're maybe in a position of power in that dynamic, and that's why they don't want to let go of it. But other people are listening to their intuition, and if there's other people that they view that they could have emotional wish fulfillment with, they're going to move towards those people as they move towards emotionally nurturing and loving themselves and moving forward, believing in their dreams. They're going to come in contact with more people like that in the world. What we manifest and believe within ourselves kind of and nurture within ourselves is what kind of manifests in our outer world. What about the people who are defensive to working with people from a deep emotional foundation? Those people are turning their back on listening to their intuition because their intuition is probably telling them to work through their fears and insecurities so they can become enlightened to the truth and be more independent from their shadow nature and their more fearful or egoic or worldly nature. But they're still caught up in the illusions of the world. They don't want to see the truth that they invest in their more shadowy nature, and it keeps them stuck. They keep investing in their fear, their insecurity, their pride, their ego, making their life about money and materialism. And other people move away from them and become single from them. And then they feel stuck, but they don't want to see the truth. They might not even want to see the truth that they're kind of immature and they could like to indulge in relationships with people, you know, um, because that could just be how they view the world. And until maybe a lot more people keep leaving a relationship and moving away from them, maybe then they'd start to see the truth that maybe my way of viewing the world and thinking it should be all about me and my wants and my needs because maybe I do think I'm good looking or maybe I do have money or materialism or a position of authority or power. It still shouldn't be all about me. It should be where there's equal give and take, where we try to see things from other people's perspectives that, you know, but some people don't believe in love and so or are defensive to love. So then it was just about indulging. And other people end up, they could be in a relationship with them for a long time until eventually they kind of see through the illusion that it does seem maybe like the person is more kind of more about themselves than the relationship, and then that's when people depart from them. So they might be making an offer to someone else. In the Devil card and the Five of Cups, someone else who they think might have some fears and insecurities and also either feels stuck. So it's like, perfect, I'm single, I'll get in a relationship with you. Let's move forward and both be in a mental prison and maybe make our life more about money and materialism. You want to get married? Do you have fears of being independent of your shadow nature or your worldly nature? Are you afraid of moving forward and believing in yourself and believing in your dreams? Perfect. Let's get married. So, people are looking for a partner. High vibe people are looking for a high vibe partner. More worldly based people might be looking for a more worldly based person who kind of operates more from money, materialism, and ego. And shadowy people are looking for someone who is got a lot of fear, insecurity, self limiting beliefs, sad, and they're going to try to manipulate that person to getting in a relationship with them. And then they're going to kind of do things in the relationship to put the person in a mental prison so that person will keep focused on trying to maintain the relationship instead of focusing on loving and believing in themselves and walking away from the illusion this person presents in the world. So there you go, Pisces. I wish you peace, love, and joy. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.